episode 55 of season 4. Today, a 4-paper show featuring The Sun, The Times, The Daily Mail, and today, The Daily Express, which will be the subject of today's speed run. We will be starting with The Sun and finishing with The Daily Mail, making it a true shit sandwich made with shit bread. Do I need my glasses? Yeah, I probably do. Right, front page of The Sun is The Sun subjecting a 25-year-old roofer who acted like a dickhead during the day of the European Championships finals to more scrutiny than it has ever put Boris Johnson to. Also includes the hypocrisy of a newspaper group where no one would ever take cocaine, and you'd be a fool to suggest otherwise, criticising a young man for allegedly doing so himself. So yeah, one of the most deeply cursed front pages The Sun has done in a while, and we've had a real string of them recently. They tracked down this young man. I don't think it was that difficult to do. I think it was probably very easy if you are a national newspaper of the scale and deep unpleasantness of The Sun. Hi, Slinkmeyer, how are you doing? Good to see you. Also, they, set up two famous women for conflict, despite them being friends. So it's fashion's weirdest love-in, why Kate and Kim are odd couple. Quite strange as well that The Sun there has managed to put KKK on its front page, or perhaps not strange at all. Good afternoon, Mark Kenosis, and good afternoon, Studying Fangirl. Good to see you both as well. As I was just saying, The Sun here is subjecting a 25-year-old roofer who acted like a bit of a dickhead to more scrutiny than it has ever applied to Boris Johnson, or indeed to its own staff, who are, I suspect, no strangers to a bit of redacted. Mark Kenosis says he did nothing wrong. So the headline they put is, Yob drank 20 cans of cider, snorted grams of coke, put a lit flare up his bum, but the authorities let him stroll into Wembley without a ticket. He's not the only jackass. Well, of course, we still have a Prime Minister who has overseen the deaths of at least 150,000 people, many of them needlessly. Inside the paper itself, we move on to page 3. That isn't page 3, but is page 3. Dancing on Ice star Vanessa Bauer turns up the heat in a blue bikini. Whoopee-doo. Also on page 3, Reddy's salted for £25. Charging packet for vegan crisps. A posh department store is selling vegan crisps for £25, sparking a ready salty response from punters. Fortnum and Mason say the 500-gram tin of patatas fritas, Spanish for crisps, is the perfect snack. But cheesed-off customers point out a 600-gram multi-pack of Walkers with 24 bags cost just £3.50 elsewhere. Touting the $24.95 tin on its website, Fortnum and Mason said, produced in Spain over 80 years, these delicious crisps are the perfect afternoon snack to share or keep to yourself. Ben Scott, 35, musician for East London, said, £25? Is Gary Lineker hand cooking them for me? I go to Spain a lot. They hand a bowl of these out for free at most bars. Another crisps fan raged, who is this for? Hipsters who want their soup served on a carving plate paired with a slotted spoon? What the fuck? Right. It's Fortnum and Mason. They sell luxury products. And also, I love the fact that The Sun couldn't find enough people to go on the record slagging off these crisps, so had to make up an anonymous crisp fan. Yeah, 2012 era hipster gags, is it? Yeah. Right, so moving on to pages 4 and 5, this is where we get to the double page spread where they go on about this 25-year-old roofer, the guy who was pictured with the flare up his arse, during the build-up to the final at Wembley. The only bit I want to quote here, which I really love, and uncritical support for this guy on this element, he did get into Wembley for free, did various other things, whatever. The bit that I think I uncritically support him over is where the Sun said, the Sun asked if he would apologise for his recklessness. The man said, "Nah, no way. I'm not saying sorry." Good on him. I feel like this dude is more of a danger to himself than anyone else, to be honest. Yeah, and also, when they asked him about the team, he said, this week he said about the flare incident. The flare burnt for about 10 seconds or so around the cheeks. I didn't feel a thing because I was highly intoxicated. No one dared me to do it. It was a very irresponsible thing to do. Everyone was fooling around. There's a bit of competition to do stuff, so I just thought I'd put the flare up my bum. It was the biggest day of my life, apart from Chelsea versus Man City in the Champions League. And he said about the team, he said, the players in the team did really well. My mates and I had one of the best 6 weeks of our lives. See you in Qatar. Like, this is the thing for me. Like, this guy, whatever, he did some dumb shit, right? But he's just one guy. He's not responsible to anyone else. Even if you went, oh, well, it's appalling, he broke into Wembley and he bribed stewards to get in there. Even then, you go, well, is it proportionate to give him 3 pages in a national newspaper with his name and face? Ridiculous. Hey, Industrial Pet, sorry about that, but we are now broadcasting from hell. Farage's fuckface, worst thing he did was talk to the Sun. I think they pretty much gave him very little choice. The photo of him in the paper, which I'm not going to put up, is him looking like, yeah, you've made me take this picture. Hey, Santa in Nap Time, good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, right. The estate agent who claimed that his Twitter account was hacked to cause him to put out months of racist tweets has handed himself into the police. And he was arrested. He remained in custody overnight. Officers were seen also entering his family home in Manchester and removing digital items, including a laptop. On page 7, Love Island Scream Time shocker. Whitmore does less. On for just 12 minutes in series. Fury at AWOL 600,000 man host. Host Laura Whitmore is featured for less than 12 minutes in the current Love Island series, despite getting paid £600,000 to pay the show. Some 950 minutes of footage have been broadcast from the villa so far, across 14 episodes, and fans are wondering why they've seen so little of Laura. Fans are they? Or is the Sun, which counted the number of minutes like this? Have they compared it to previous series? No, of course they haven't. The presenter in Love Island never appears that much. On page 9, Poppy love for Candice. Candice Brown goes for Bake Off, from Bake Off to Take Off, as she strolls with her new airline manager, Beau. Beau, such a fucking tabloid way of putting things. The foodie favourite, 36, is seeing TUI regional pilot manager Nikki Mercer after splitting from her husband last year. What is the justification for putting this in the paper? Stupid. Mark Canosa's custody overnight seems a bit odd unless he handed himself in late at night. Could be. On page 8, 4.8 billion nanny state raid. Sugar and salt tax to cost each home £172 a year. You're going to see this a lot in the papers, right? But that's not that won't be the case, because even if this sugar tax came in, it's not going to. The government aren't actually that interested. They just got Dimbleby to say this stuff. It's Henry Dimbleby. They got him to write this stuff so they can say they've taken it seriously, but they're not actually going to introduce it. Even if it was introduced, companies could get around it by reducing the amount of sugar in the products, so people wouldn't actually end up having to pay £172 extra per year on their shopping. It's ridiculous. I mean, his report's fucking ridiculous as well. A posh guy explaining what people with far less money than him should be eating and how they should be eating it. But there you go. On page 9 of The Sun, two become one, spliced but no spice. His bandmates were not at Emma Bunton's wedding. They say they were snubbed. They weren't snubbed. Lots of people are having small weddings at the moment because of COVID restrictions, etc. On pages 10 and 11, landlords double jab demand for drinkers, vaccine passport, first 2-jab ID pub, proof for pint fears grow. Oh, proof for pint fears grow, Jesus Christ. On page 13, jailed for £34,000 OAP con. Danny Sammy given 3 years in the slammy. Danny Dyer's boyfriend, that's Danny Dyer, the daughter Danny Dyer, rather than the father Danny Dyer, wept in court yesterday after he was jailed for conning 2 vulnerable OAPs out of £34,000. Sammy Kimmins, 25, posed as a financial whiz to dupe 91-year-old Peter Martin and Peter Hayes, 81. The callous fraudster persuaded the elderly pair to let him invest their savings for them, but the low-life dad of ex-Love Island winner Danny's baby splashed out on clothes, restaurants and hotels on a trip to the party island Ibiza. I can't believe we're still calling it that. So come on, yeah, it's fucking easy to eat healthily if you pay someone else to do your cooking. Yeah, exactly. On pages 14 and 15, a double-page spread. Fashion guru, why on this odd couple are in fact a perfect match. Nothing is hotter than Kim and Kate in bed, says Dylan Jones, the recently removed editor of GQ. Pathetic. Moving on. Rod Liddle, we're free at last to make intelligent choices on COVID. Intelligent choices like hitting your pregnant girlfriend, for instance. On page 19, Adele's bought a new house. Basically, she bought 3 houses in a set, so creating a vast estate. Yeah, all right. Adele is very rich. In the bizarre column, Kendall Jenner is wearing some clothes. Russell Brand. What's Russell Brand done? Comic Brand defends Rue killing dog. Russell Brand, blah, 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 has waged war. He's refusing to put his dog on a lead. The contrary stance comes after his dog last month mauled a wallaby to death in Henley-on-Thames near the home he shares with second wife Laura Gallagher and their 2 daughters. Now, the stand-up comic says he feels like gangsters Ronnie and Reggie Cray's mum violent because the dog keeps killing animals. Okay, so he made a joke, right? He made a joke, but Simon Boyle is taking it out of context. Lord wore a yellow dress, so that's apparently a story. A National Crime Agency officer used a suspected drug dealer's debit card to buy 10 breakfasts for himself and colleagues, the court has heard. Paul Seeley was accused of using Nicola Stevens' card to order the $9.99 full English meals after her arrest. The breakfasts were ordered from a cafe by phone after she was nabbed. Veteran NCA agent Mr. Seeley wept in the witness box as he denied the Breakfast Gate claims while giving evidence. Judge David Miller adjourned the case against Stevens, 51, while the allegations were investigated. He told the jury the next day, "We have been delayed today because of what I have called Breakfast Gate. The accusations against the investigating officer are using one of the defendant's cards to purchase breakfast." Mr. Seeley was accused of making the order from Romford Police Station, East London, where Stevens was taken and held. Prosecutor Tim Probert Wood told Woolwich Crown Court the £99.90 order was made but was never collected. Mr. Seeley admitted photographing the bank card and writing down the numbers, but said the breakfast order was nothing to do with him. Stevens is charged with conspiracy to supply Class A drugs and money laundering. The court heard 6 sealed bags of cocaine were found in her sewing box when she was arrested. There we go. Yes, agrees Lincoln Meyer. 25. Britney Spears nearly made her fans' eyes pop out when she said snaps of herself in a saucy outfit. Oh, Jesus Christ. Fuck off. That's not a story, Daily Mail. That's Sun, sorry. You just go to Instagram and find pictures to create stories out of. That is your life now. Nip dog saved from chop, bark from the dead. Buddy the Chihuahua was saved from rough justice yesterday and celebrated with a steak meal provided by the Sun. The tiny 13-inch tall pooch faced the death penalty after he was accused of attacking an Avon lady on her rounds. I heard your dad delivers Avon. Owner Ash Routledge, 30, was due to stand trial for having a dog dangerously out of control. However, the case has been dismissed as police were unable to arrange for the victim to give evidence. Ash said, "I'm delighted, over the moon." I'm glad Buddy is all right, but shame the son had to get involved. Perony Reed, FTC. Hello, good to see you. Yeah, what a U-turn after the Brand article, hey? Yeah, incredible, isn't it? On page 26, Amy truly loved me, but she battled with her sexuality. Girlfriend on Star's 10-year anniversary. Apparently, Amy Winehouse had a brief fling with Catriona Goulet. In an upcoming BBC documentary reclaiming Amy, Catriona says the star, who's married to Blake Fielder Civil from 2007 to 2009 and dated film director Reg Travis for a year leading up to her death, was baffled by her strong feelings for other women. Nothing says honouring your dead ex like talking about their sexuality in the sun. Here is a picture of an owl peeping through its wings, which is quite good. Yeah, it's almost as if the Sun's moral stance flips on a whim. Yeah, incredible, isn't it? As old as the bills, paying with real cash means you're past it. Getting bills in the post and paying for stuff in cash means you're past it, according to Millennial. Stop! What the fuck are you talking about, millennials? Millennials. The eldest of whom are in their 40s. I'm a millennial, I'm 37 years old. Jesus fucking Christ. Also, paying by cash, paying your bills by cash is pretty fucking... Yeah, according to people under the age of 45, yes, Farage's fuckface. Secrets revealed 40 years on from the wedding of the century. Wedding Die. Behind-the-scenes experts tell how they created the fairy tale event, watched by 750 million worldwide. It was not a fairy tale, was it? We know what happened. At best, it was a fucking grim horror fable. In a TV recommendations, Craig and Bruno's Great British Trips was reviewed. They liked it. And there's a show about can you improve your memory on tonight. I'm sure I'll forget to record that. In Dear Deirdre, I always felt like the odd one out. Now I am. Mum has revealed that I'm adopted and I'm reeling from the news. Get real counselling. Don't write into Dear Deirdre. His staring during sex freaks me out, writes someone. My lover keeps his eyes open when we make love and it's creeping me out. I've been seeing this guy about a year and I'm really confused about our relationship. He's 30 and I'm 26. We met through their local COVID volunteering group delivering food to the vulnerable. Our relationship is very Netflix and chill. We don't talk that much before we start kissing and making our way to the bedroom. Sex is great apart from one thing. He always keeps his eyes wide open. I first noted it when we were kissing. But he does it during intercourse too. If I open my eyes for a second, he's staring. I find it a bit weird and disturbing. It's like he's watching me instead of getting lost in the moment. I've had 8 other lovers and kissed lots of men, and nobody has ever done this before. Dear Deirdre says, studies show only about 15 to 30% of couples keep their eyes open during sex. Closing your eyes makes you feel less vulnerable and helps focus on physical sensations. Perhaps your guy finds it a turn on. There's definitely nothing to worry about. Good. My pensioner dad is turning to drink, writes someone. I mean, you would be if you're bored as fuck, wouldn't you? I haven't told wife of my gay fantasy, writes someone else. Again, why are you writing into the Sun about this? Anxious, lonely, and feel a failure. I have zero confidence in myself, says someone else. Again, finally, do not write into Dear Deirdre. There are other places you can go. She doesn't even exist anymore. She's retired. Deirdre's retired. It's now Sally Land and a team of anonymous advice chuckers. Fab Daily from on that. Vicky Patterson says, looking after my lovely pup puts me off having kids. Vicky Patterson has a new love. He's got big brown eyes, is more affectionate than most of the men she's ever known. Yes, that's right, it's her puppy Milo. Milo looks like a good dog, to be fair. He's a good dog. Look at him, what a good doggo. Right. Could you brave the freedom chop? Various people have had their hair cut short. Yeah, I'm sure lots of women do. Yeah, definitely news, 100%, I know. Right, in the letters, in the £50 letter today comes from Leah Cook, who writes, the call from Harry Maguire for a social media clampdown brought home that the law and tech giants must tackle racists. You're writing into the Sun. Repeat, this is the Sun you're writing into. They are the scourge of this earth, abused not only from the UK but other countries too. Being a victim of racism, like the England footballers who missed their penalties at the Euros, is a devastating, exhausting experience. In the short letters, Georgina writes, "Why are MPs so worried about cuts to foreign aid when we have people in poverty here?" Well, because it's quite complicated, Georgina, but you see, actually, foreign aid is quite useful. Is it like a good thing for us to do for various reasons? Sorry, why am I doing this? You write into the fucking sun. Waste of time. Mick from Wrexham, no relation, says, "What a mess Revellers left after England's defeat. They should be given a good dose of community service." Susan says, "I am so ashamed of hooligans' behaviour at Wembley and the abuse of our young footballers. Football is a family sport." And June says, "The Mayor of London says masks will be mandatory on travel, but who will enforce it?" The people working there will enforce it. Foreign aid is good for the UK economy. Pass it on. It is. It makes sense. There are so many reasons for foreign aid, not least of all that it is materially a good thing to help people who are starving and suffering. No relation, are you sure? I am not related to the Mick in the paper. Okay, here is genuinely one of the most cursed objects they've been trying to sell for a while. It is an officially licensed by Coca-Cola Woody Wagon Cruise Coca-Cola delivery car thing with surfboards on the top. Yours for, this coming from the Bradford exchange, yours for £99.96. Baz Benson, in my we had funding pulled out from under us due to aid cuts, which has cost jobs in the UK too. Yeah, it's almost as if these things are actually interrelated. Anyway, get a Cruising to Refreshment 1937 Studebaker Woody Wagon 1 to 18 scale there. Get one of those for nearly 100 quid. And on the back page of the Sun, Iron Fist, troops on first tee to stop fan pranks. Open Chiefs will send in the army to crack down on rowdy behaviour, will they? And hate will never win. Will hold heads high and keep chasing dreams, says Jadon Sancho. Yeah. Know all about hate. You're the fucking Sun. Okay, yep. Send Ashmax McNulty 4 of those excellent Coca-Cola, wooden Coca-Cola cars. Right. Okay, so we're gonna... I'm going to do the roll call in a second, and then we're going to move on to the Daily Express, which is going to be today's speed round. I think I can do the Daily Express in 2 minutes flat. Right, let's have a look who is in the chat today. I am, of course, the Broken Bottle Boy. You can follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy or on TikTok at Useless Conquest. Also in the chat today, Too Fab for Cancer, Academy Impossible, Arid Tracks, Ash Flaps, McNulty, Aiton, Bazza Benson, Chemical Chris McRae, Commander Root, DC Server for Small Streamers, Farage's Fuck Face, Industrial Pet, Kinu 92, Chronotherm, Mark Kenosis, Morim Skell, Red Tick Seed, Sanitary Nap Time, Slinker Meyer, Shlomo Schlaf, Studying Fangirl, Toms, V&K, Virgo Pros, Zippershavit. Good to see you all today on this Thursday show. Tomorrow will be a magazine special. Daily Express, any percent speedrun. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Google, set timer for 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. And that's starting now.
Right, front page of the Daily Express. They're giving away 25,000 family passes to the National Trust. Well, of course they are. Boris Johnson's making a speech today. It's absolutely just slogans with no facts behind it, of course. What more do you expect from him saying, we'll level up from north to south? Of course, this is Daily Express, so their main story is about the weather. Sizzling Britain, staycation boom fires up economy. We're set to bake in 88 Fahrenheit at the weekend. Yes, we're back there in the return to imperial measurements. Inside the paper, Sharon Stone has worn a dress. Craig Revel Horwood wants to get Chris Whitty to burst COVID bubbles in Strictly. Summer's back just in time for the holidays. More on the weather. Mixed messages over masks. There's a scandal on curbs in care homes. Under fire police chief back for new term. Prime Minister's back crosses a dick. Well, of course he has. On page 9, fly past for Bomber Command heroes. On page 11, Boris's football ban for web racists. But if you're a racist and Prime Minister, you can go to as much football as you like. Esther McVeigh is a columnist in the Daily Express, and she is called the Northern Powerhouse. She says, be bold and fix this cladding nightmare. McDonald's shows it still has the recipe for success, and wear a mask by all means, but don't rob the rest of us of our freedom. Oh, fuck off. Meanwhile, Leah McKistry writes, an amnesty should finally draw a line under the trouble. Damian Lewis is back acting after the sad death of his wife. Larkin in the Sea, they've got pictures of Bradley Walsh and Joanna Scanlon and others filming New Darling Buds of May. Rising gang violence worries most parents, apparently. On page 23, the Gift of Life transplant saved 3,400 patients during the COVID crisis. The Express is also covering Fortnum & Mason selling the expensive crisps. At £25, crisps cost a packet. Unearthed a picture of... Oh, damn it. I just analysed too much. Right, let's see if I can at least do this in another minute or so. There's a picture of Winston Churchill in touring the Middle East with Lawrence of Arabia. Dinner winners delivered to your door. Dietitian investigates next generation dining services. It's a feature about people of different ages who share flats. Is biohacking the future of well-being? I don't know, maybe. They're trying to sell you streamers. They're trying to sell you food boxes. They're trying to sell you various cruises. In their cartoons, they've got Calvin and Hobbes, Dilbert, Faith, Hope and Sue, and Rupert the Bear. Trying to sell you £15 leisure pull-on trousers. In the business, FCA won't block doorstep lenders' compensation plan. And in the sport, Rory's on a mission. McIlroy out to end major drought. I'd say there's about 3 minutes. Which parents I'd be much more concerned about mental health? Yeah, well, same here. Mark Kenosis, what's going to be the cutoff time for this amnesty? Be funny if the IRA got a few more assassinations in under the wire. SK the Crusader says... yes. W's in the chat for SK the Crusader. Soon to be employed... gainfully or otherwise. Yes, W's in the chat for SK. Well done, mate. Fully. Or congratulations for that. SK says it's the Hog's fault for not paying enough playing enough drops, forcing me to take a well-paying job. All right, so that was the Express. We know it's awful. A septuple negative nice from me. Baz Benson, I didn't have any W's, so I made this one myself. Nice. All right, so now we're going to move on to the Times. You may note that I'm somewhat tired with the world today. Mark Kenosis rates the Express a -88 Fahrenheit. All right, front page of the Times. Female trolls and me. Polly Vernon on social media abuse. I would simply not be Polly Vernon. 88 Fahrenheit, coincidence? I think not. On the top right-hand corner, a plus, is your salad up to scratch? Yeah? Call for sugar and salt tax as food czar rewrites British diet. I hate the way czars became a thing. It's a Blairite 90s thing that's just continued forever. Got a problem? Appoint a czar. We never get a government appointed commissar, do we? Firms blast ministers over COVID rules mess. DIY medal ceremonies await stars at the Olympics. And another picture of Sharon Stone in her nice dress. Adele's new house thing gets most of the page 3. Britain must shoulder blame for racist trolls, says MI5 boss. Conservative and Labour MPs have blamed each other for delays in the government's online safety bill. Both sides accuse the other of dragging their heels. There's a story about a £6.2 million stamp. The 1 cent magenta has been dubbed the Mona Lisa of the philatelic world. Security arrangements for the arrival of the British Guiana 1 cent magenta in London seem extraordinary until you realise that by weight it is the most valuable item ever made. Armed guards were yesterday due to collect the world's rarest stamp from the vault at Sotheby's New York headquarters. Then it was to travel in solitary splendour to the airport in an armoured van. 2 people will accompany the sliver of paper measuring just 29 by 26 millimetres during the flight to Heathrow in order to avoid leaving it unguarded during lavatory breaks. The Mona Lisa of the philatelic world, such an annoying word to read, will then be held in an airport vault until customs officers confirm that duty has been paid. Another armoured van will drive it to central London showroom of its new owner, the stamp dealer Stanley Gibbons, where it is expected to arrive today. The company bought the stamp at auction last month for $8.3 million, £6.2 million from the collection of American shoe designer Stuart Weitzman. Its new treasure will need the most dedicated of care to protect it from exposure to light. The stamp will be subjected to only more than 50 lumens. The right temperature is also vital. It will be stored at no more than 21 degrees with humidity between 40 and 60% and displayed in a specially commissioned zero-oxygen frame. Dating from 1856, it was used for the delivery of a newspaper, which lay forgotten until 1873 when it was found by Louis Vernon Vaughan, a 12-year-old Scottish schoolboy, among his uncle's papers. It has had 12 previous owners, including the government of France from 1920 to 1922. Stanley Gibbons is planning a shared ownership scheme with thousands of collectors already registering their interest in owning a little piece of 165-year history. Yeah, that stamp looks like shit. Do you want to see? Here you go. Look, here's the stamp. Looks like absolute shit. Like, just a smeary red. Cave Follies identified as home of Anglo-Saxon king. Apparently, a nearly complete Anglo-Saxon dwelling and oratory believed to date from the early 9th century has been identified in Derbyshire. It suggests it was, where they sent a king to be in isolation, basically. IKEA, a range of IKEA furniture has been linked to illegal logging. The wood has been supplied by companies linked to Evgeny Bakarov, who, according to conservationists, is involved in illegal logging. What do you picture a man involved in illegal logging looks like? Was it this? Right. Levelling up isn't a downer, insists Boris Johnson. Well, he would say that, wouldn't he? Lord Hammond of Runnymede, the former Chancellor, has been given a job advising the Saudi Arabian Finance Ministry and can begin lobbying for it from next week. Certainly nothing inappropriate about that. On pages 6 and 7, from AI farming to fake meat, it's a revolution in British food, is it? Prince Charles says rural life is under threat. Perhaps he could sell some of the many acres of farmland he owns and does crazy shit on. Families' anger at Troubles Amnesty is a report on that. Cancel Festival lost NHS Trust £360,000. An NHS Trust lost £360,000 when a music festival featuring Rita Ora was cancelled after poor ticket sales. University Hospitals of Derby and Burton NHS Foundation Trust organised the one-day festival through a subsidiary company, but tried to keep the cost private before a judge ruled they could be made public. Derby Sound, featuring Rita Ora, Rudimental and the Vamps, had been due to take place in 2019. The festival, organised by D-Hive, a subsidiary of the trust. Hey, maybe we shouldn't let fucked up shit like this happen in the NHS. And maybe if management wasn't encouraged to do insane pseudo-privatized shit, this stuff wouldn't happen. Really disgusting story. The first Muslim woman to lead Oldham Council has had her car deliberately firebombed in an arson attack. Arush Shah, who was elected earlier this year, had her car set alight in the early hours of Tuesday. Greater Manchester Police said its officers, along with teams from the Fire and Rescue Service, attended the blaze in Oldham at 1:30 a.m. It's established that the vehicle was deliberately ignited, also causing slight damage to a neighbouring property. Why is this story hidden on page 9? Why is this story hidden on page 9? Like, it's important, shocking, horrible news, and there it is, just shoved at the top of page 9. Buried. On pages 10 and 11, rising cases delay plans to ease contact tracing app Pingdemic. They're never going to stop saying Pingdemic, and it's maddening. Police on guard in lockdown Sydney as Delta virus cases surge. Drug overdose deaths at record levels in America. Charge your phone with the sweat from your fingers. A smartphone... scientists have developed a wearable device that can harvest the sweat from your fingers and turn it into energy. I think it's very unlikely to be commercialised in the way that the Times suggests. Met chief defends officers after Wembley chaos. Cressida Dick never knowingly accepting she's fucked up. Whether it's overseeing the murder of an innocent man, trying to get in the way of the Daniel Morgan independent panel report, or simply fucking up police in Wembley, something that the Metropolitan Police does on a regular basis. You know. A device that collects your sweat so you can sell it to perverts, says Mark Kanosis. Always there with the smart entrepreneurial ideas, Mark. PM pledges match bans to punish racist trolls. Again, please check out today's newsletter, brokenbottleboy.substack.com, where I talk about... what the hell is going on here? Where I talk about the fact that Boris Johnson has a long history of racism, not just the examples that always get pulled up. Pulled up some rare Boris Johnson examples of racism from his long career of writing racist things for the newspapers. So if anyone should be banned from England matches, Boris Johnson would be high on the list. If you've not read the newsletter or don't know what it is, go to brokenbottleboy.substack.com. I've just dropped the link in the chat. It's free. Yes, I've posted the rare Bojos. Sanctuary nap time. If you want to read that newsletter, go there, brokenbottleboy.substack.com, and sign up. You can sign up for free, and then if you like it, upgrade to the paid subscription. Just helps me keep things going. Quentin Letts is a useless fuck. Anglican Church facing flood of complaints from 90s cult victims. Church of England's bracing a flood of compensation claims from former followers of cult-like movement that collapsed after a sex scandal 25 years ago. Former members of the 9 o'clock service, which was known as the NOS and drew hundreds of young people to nightclub-style evangelical services in Sheffield in the 80s and 90s, have approached the church alleging they endured abuse and exploitation. Jesus. Couldn't have predicted that was going to happen. RAF wants to save flying for real wars. Nearly all RAF aircraft training will be carried out using computer simulations on the ground, with real-life flying saved for wars and demonstrations of power, the head of the Air Force has said. Right. Churchill was all action at an easel. Winston Churchill painted as he lived with gusto. Will there ever be a day when we don't have fucking Winston Churchill stories in the paper? New plays to help decolonise GCSE syllabus. One of the main exam boards is adding 4 new plays to its GCSE curriculum to make it more inclusive and help decolonise the syllabus. This September, pupils will be able to study works by Bola Abagye, Insuk Chapel, Tanika Gupta, and Roy Williams as part of the Pearson qualification, meaning a third of its set text will be by ethnic minority playwrights. Gupta's A Doll's House is an Indian-based adaptation of Ibsen's classic play that reflects on British colonialism. Antigone by Williams is a modern update of the Greek tragedy, focusing on gang-related killings. And Agbaje's play Gone Too Far revolves around the themes of racial identity and youth culture, while The Free Nine by Chappell is a North Korean-based drama. This is good. Fuck Pearson, but this is good. Past events have put 72 Virgins on the syllabus, in my opinion. Yes, one of the worst novels ever written, Boris Johnson's incredibly racist novel. Again, something I discussed today in the newsletter. David Aronovich says, Cuba's apologists need to face the grim reality. David Aronovich will never get over the fact that his parents were communists. James Marriott, the fresh-faced fuckwit of the Times comment desk, says, the times that bind us are breaking down. Western societies are plagued not only by widespread loneliness, but a fundamental disconnect. Janice Turner writes some shit about bicycle bells. Ian Martin says, Britain isn't perfect, but the racists are losing. Really, Ian? Many of them are your friends. Mark Kanosis, David Aronovich needs to face up to the grim reality. He got ripped off for that leather jacket. Facts. Okay, today in the birthday, Dame Carmen Khalil, founder and chairwoman of Virago Press, is 83. Charles Barnett, the vice chairman of the Racecourse Association, chief executive of Ascot Racecourse till 2014, is 73. Dame Jocelyn Bell Burnell, the astrophysicist, discovered the first radio pulsars and chairman of the University of Dundee, Chancellor of the University of Dundee, is 78. Sir Harrison Birtwistle, the composer, is 87. Crispin Blunt, the Conservative MP for Reigate, is 61. Lord George Bridges of Headingley, Minister at the Department for Exiting the European Union until 2017, is 51. Alistair Carmichael, the Lib Dem MP for Orkney and Shetland, Lib Dem Chief Whip, is 56. Prof. Dame Anne Dowling, OM, the Mechanical Engineer, President of the Royal Academy of Engineering, is 69. Nice. Derek Griffiths, children's TV presenter, Play School, 1971 to 1981, and the actor in Coronation Street, 2016-2017, 75. Trevor Horn, record producer and songwriter, is 72. Ariana Huffington, go fuck yourself, Ariana, is 71. Celia Imrie, the actress, is 69. Nice. Faye Mashler, the restaurant critic, is 76. David Miliband, President and Chief Executive of the International Rescue Committee and Foreign Secretary until 2010, is 56. Slip on a banana, David. Professor Brendan Milner, neuropsychologist who revolutionized the understanding of memory, is 103. Sir Philip Moore, the High Court Judge, is 62. Bridget Nielsen, the actress, is 58. Ollie Alexander, the musician and actor, is 31. Scott Rittner, the UN Weapons Inspector, is 60. Shirley Robinson, the sailor, the first British woman to win consecutive Olympic medals, 2000 and 2004, is 53. Dame Marion Rowe, the Conservative MP for Broxbourne, is 85. She's a Conservative MP for Broxbourne until 2005. Linda Ronstadt, the singer, is 75. Professor Maggie Snowing, the psychologist and president of St John's College, Oxford, is 66. Steve Thompson, the rugby union player for England until 2011, is 43. Forrest Whitaker, the actor, is 60. Lord Robert Winston, IVF pioneer and broadcaster, is 81. On this day in 971, according to legend, in torrential rain, St Swithin's remains were moved from church in Winchester to the new cathedral. And the last word in this column today goes to Derek Walcott, the Nobel Prize-winning poet in Uncommon Genius, How Great Ideas Are Born. I don't think there is any other function for the poet or the scientist in the human tribe but the astonishment of the soul. Sligomai, happy birthday to Ollie Alexander. I knew him back in the day and he's a sweetie. He does seem nice. Mark Kenosis, Mick, why are you so venomous about Ariana Huffington? Feels like there's a story there. I was writing for AOL as a paid contributor when AOL was taken over by or subsumed itself around the HuffPost. And Ariana Huffington made sure that all us freelancers were told, you can continue writing for the site, but you'll be able to do it on a voluntary basis. Ariana Huffington is a parasite who continued to get richer and richer while forcing companies and pushing the idea that writing for free was a justified thing. She's a cunt. Mark Kenosis, extraordinary rendition of David Miliband's CV, indeed. Farage's fuckface, happy birthday Trevor Horn, who made a weird anime with Stan Lee. Farage's fuckface, I think Corin crashes his cars while blackout drunk, and when he wakes up he thinks they've been stolen again. I'm so happy that his car has been stolen again. You were the guy who wrote 1003 Minutes on the AOL CDs. Yeah, that's me. Moving on, looters run riot in worst unrest since apartheid South Africa. That's a report from South Africa. Of course, it's massively racially tinged, as Times reports most often are. Trump recasts Capitol Assault as patriotic love fest. Well, of course he does. Lab-grown chocolate promises a guilt-free treat, writes Oliver Moody from Switzerland. The Sicilian Mafia raids expose New York Godfather links. Decades after The Godfather depicted close ties between the Sicilian Mafia and the American crime families, Italian investigators have revealed that the bond between mob bosses in Palermo and New York is healthier than ever. A deadly Lego pistol has been shot down by the toy firm. A Utah-based gun manufacturer stopped selling a kit that made a real Glock pistol look like a Lego toy. Lego sent a cease and desist letter to Culper Precision, which offered the colourful kit for up to $765 under the slogan, "A childhood dream come to life." Brandon Scott, the chief executive of Culper, said it had sold fewer than 20 and would comply with the demand. Imagine being so fucked up that you create that. A judge in France has been sacked after offering His daughter 12 for sex on a swingers website. France is one of the most Nazi countries in Europe. And that's coming from someone currently living in England. Mark notices, imagine being shot by one of those Lego guns. Deeply undignified. Yeah, this French story. 55-year-old French judge has been dismissed for offering sex with his 12-year-old daughter on an internet site for partner swapping. The Judicial Disciplinary Authority removed Oliver Bailey, a vice president of the law courts in Dijon, the capital of Burgundy, from the bench for conduct causing serious damage to the judiciary. Bailey, who was in charge of the family law division of the Dijon courts, admitted his action but pleaded at the hearing last month that he had been suffering from post-traumatic stress for more than a decade and been acting out fantasies that he never followed through. Chinny reckon. Bailey, whose wife Sophie Verge Bailey is also a judge, was charged a year ago with corrupting a minor and provoking paedophile crime, offences which carry up to 10 years in jail. Police officers posing as men looking for sex tracked down Bailey after a site for libertine encounters reported the child's picture in a swimsuit had been posted there with an offer of her services. They found that Bailey and his wife were active in partner swapping circles. Well, okay. France 3 television reported Verge Bailey was cleared of involvement in posting the image of the girl, the youngest of their 3 children. Pauline Neveu, Bailey's lawyer, told the hearing that he was afflicted with terrible shame, but was suffering mental problems stemming from the trial in 2007 of Pierre Baudin, a racist and serial killer in which he had been chief prosecutor. Pleaded to keep his job. Bailey told the hearing, I do not feel really unworthy of this profession which I love. I think I've been useful and I think I can still be useful one day. No date for trial has been announced and Bailey is free pending proceedings. Jesus. Yeah. It's France with Denmark more Nancy. No, Denmark was quite frequently, remarkably Nancy in the 1670s, says Farage's fuckface. Industrial pet. PTSD is an excuse for that BS. Absolutely not. Baz Benson says there was that effed up non-story recently too with the Médecins Sans Frontières guy. Kuchar, who knew the dude effed his kid, just let the dude carry on living his life and kept it quiet. Kuchar was just culpable. Yeah, horrendous. Mark Gnosis, though, was it Germany where they intentionally fostered kids with paedophiles because they thought they'd take the best care of them? I'd not heard that story, but I mean, Jesus. Iran tried to kidnap critic in New York. A journalist and human rights activist in New York was targeted by a kidnap plot by Iranian intelligence intended to silence critics of the regime in Tehran. Prosecutors in New York claim the alleged victim was not named, but Maziv Alinejad, 44, who fled Iran in 2009 and lives in Brooklyn, said she was the target. Prosecution says that another expatriate journalist was targeted in Britain, where the operatives hired private investigators under false pretenses to take photographs of their home. 3 others in Canada were also targeted. But remember what I said yesterday. These stories, I'm sure that story is true, or true to some extent. But notice the flare-up in stories about spies and foreign agents in the press over the past few days. There are reasons for that. Mark Kanosis says Denmark legalized all porn in the early 70s, but it meant all porn. So a lot of nastiness came from there. Jesus. John Lewis is cutting 1,000 managers, while we're told that apparently the economy is doing fine. Times 2. I know what it feels like to be trolled by women. Polly Vernon on influencers and social media abuse. There she is, staring at the phone, presumably filled with trolls. That's just the front cover of the Times 2. If men threaten and abuse anonymously, women sneer, she says. Oh, God. Right, can't be bothered with Times 2. Anyway, that's what's in there. Simon Nixon, persistent labour shortages could mean problems for the UK economy. What? Labour shortages? Why ever would that have happened? Subprime lenders trying to treat the compensation it pays to mistreated customers handed almost 1.3 billion to its shareholders during the period. A subprime lender that is trying to cut compensation it pays to mistreated customers handed almost 1.3 billion to its shareholders during the period the mis-selling took place. Provident Financial is trying to push ahead with a controversial plan to cap compensation payouts after the Financial Conduct Authority said yesterday that it would not attempt to block the scheme, despite the regulator harboring serious concerns about the lender's proposals. It's almost as if the Financial Conduct Authority has no teeth. Just like an old gummy bulldog. In the obituaries, Sir Nicholas Goodison, cerebral chairman of the London Stock Exchange who oversaw Big Bang and was a connoisseur of art, opera and 18th century clocks. Just read that carefully. Clocks, yes. On July 6th, 2021, he died age 87. He always said that he was not dealing with money, but with people. Yeah, right. Ellen McIlwain, the Flamehead blues singer and slide guitarist who performed with Jimi Hendrix and fronted her own band in the 60s, has died. She was just 75. She died of esophageal cancer, sadly. Mick Bates, elegant midfielder and perennial super sub for Leeds United in the Don Revie era, who had a habit of scoring important goals, has died. He was 73. They're trying to sell you vacuum cleaners as usual. And in the sports, Lions suffer first defeat. British and Irish Lions lost their first game on the tour last night, beaten 17-13 by a near international strength South African A team. Right, there you go. That was the Times. Give me your scores. We're going to rock it into the Daily Mail now. A warning, a major warning for the Daily Mail today. There's an extremely fat-phobic story in this. It's likely to be triggering for people. It's very grim. If you've seen the front page anywhere elsewhere online today, you will be aware of what it is, but we will be covering that. Slinkermeyer gives the Times a minus, double negative nice. Mark Kanosis with a minus 69 female trolls. So here is the front page of the Daily Mail, and on top of the shop is the story that I was warning about. The tuts, the stairs, the hell of being 20 stone for one day. Liz Jones puts on a fat suit to promote her novel, and seems not to realise that the main reason that people were tutting and staring is they were saying, oh look, it's that fucker Liz Jones from the Daily Mail wearing a fat suit. Main story is war on obese Britain, snack tax to fight fat crisis, 9 pence on a Mars bar, 87 pence on a Frosties box, you know, fucking the usual spin you would get from the Mail. Inside on page 3 of the Mail, take one's mask off, not on your Nelly. Charles Camilla and a star-studded night of jumbo size fundraising, whatever. On pages 4 and 5, bid to cut 64,000 death toll, and then they look at what snacks will cost you more money. How can she demand to go on? Outcries yard boss crushes a dick who's overseen disaster after disaster. Suggests she won't step down next year, but wants 4 more years. Get her out. On page 9, the Cannes curtain call various dresses. On pages 10 and 11, island holidays blow. Balearics are taken off green list amid rising case numbers. More mask messes. Official guidelines say we should wear them in shops. Sainsbury's joins Waterstones to back them even after it's no longer the law. I mean, is it that bad? Mark Kanosis, that's fucking awful, but also Liz Jones in a fat suit is just unavoidably funny. At one point, her column was literally called Liz Jones Moans. Yeah, the Daily Mail hate her as well. They put her through stuff deliberately because they hate her while she's also one of their top columnists. On page 14 and 15, Wembley mayhem blame game. Yard chief hits back at FA, claims police failed to put ring of steel around stadium. Second top officer says football chiefs relied on low-paid stewards to save cash. Well, of course they did. The Henry Deeds sketch is just bullshit. Look at today's newsletter if you want to know particularly why. On page 16, Nazir Afzal, the former chief Crown prosecutor for the northwest of England, writes, if the Yard's Dame of Disaster doesn't quit, she must be decommissioned. On the day she's honoured, Cressida Dick in yet another mess, but wants to stay on as Britain's top cop. The man-made sun in Oxfordshire that could power our planet. Hundreds of times every month, a British scientist sitting in a high-tech control room in the industrial park in the Thames Valley near Didcot clicks his computer mouse. Each time he does so, a high-energy beam of subatomic particles is fired into a dark, swirling cloud of superheated hydrogen gas known as plasma, contained within a spherical steel tank about 6 foot in diameter. The plasma immediately sparks and glows, and at that point has become the hottest place in the solar system, hotter even than the core of the sun. Of course, the Daily Mail loves this. They've done a little diagram of it, of everything. Yes, she did write a column about how much she hated her neighbours and then claimed she'd been threatened with a shotgun. Stephen Glover, the most zombie-looking motherfucker in the British press, says, magnificent response to those vile attacks on footballers proves the UK is not a racist cesspit. He writes that from the Daily Mail, a racist cesspit. They, of course, cover the wastage of money on that festival. Under Fire, gun that looks like Lego is their coverage of that story. Their headline on Adele buying a second house. That's Adele of a property empire. And they have a picture of her old flat above a shop in London. Amal Rajan is interviewed, fucking hell, how he feels like an imposter and needed to conquer his inner demons on first day. With refreshing honesty, the Beeb's hottest rising star, Today presenter Amal Rajan reveals to Jam Moi the truth behind the seeming effortless confidence. Here is the news. I was drunk on Havana rum on my big BBC debut, he says. Person in the room has written twat over his head, so that tells you what you want to know. When we screw up, I'm the guy who has to go on the news and say the BBC is a dreadful place. I will never be Director General. I'll never apply. I will never be an executive. Sounds like utter hell. No, why do that when you can get paid a lot to be one of the world's worst presenters? On July 15th, 2021, let's look at the On This Day column. From the Daily Mail archive, July 15th, 1968. The taxman was looking at miniskirts, not in a whistling kind of way, only in the grim line of duty. Short skirts are robbing the treasury of thousands of pounds a year in purchase tax. Anything less than 24 inches is classed as children's clothing and is purchase tax-free. But now Customs and Excise want to cut 4 inches off the tax-free skirt and charge anything more than 20 inches long. July 15th, 1986. The Queen is said to make Prince Andrew the Duke of York and Fergie his Duchess. It is traditional for the monarch's second son to take the title, but for years the Bachelor Prince has declined it. Bachelor Prince. Happy birthday to Lord Robert Winston, who's 81, and Dame Carmen Khalil, 83, the Australian writer who founded Virago Press to print books which celebrated women and women's lives. Born on this day in 1904, Dorothy Fields, the American lyricist, co-wrote more than 400 songs, including A Fine Romance and On the Sunny Side of the Street. She once called herself a $50 a night girl because that is what she was paid for each lyric she composed. Gregory Isaacs was born on this date in 1951, died 2010. Jamaican reggae star is best known for his 1982 album Night Nurse, which was recorded in Bob Marley's studio. Title track became a hit for Simply Red in 1997. Nicknamed the Cool Ruler, he was known for wearing a fedora and three-piece suit on stage. In 1815, on this day, the Napoleonic Wars finally came to an end when Napoleon Bonaparte, 6 weeks after his defeat at Waterloo, surrendered to Captain Frederick Lewis Maitland on HMS Bellerophon. In 1834, the Spanish Queen Regent, Maria Cristina de Bourbon, issued a decree abolishing the Spanish Inquisition. Quote of the day today comes from Ford Madox Ford, the novelist. Only 2 classes of books are of universal appeal, the very best and the very worst. And that brings us back to Boris Johnson's book, The 72 Virgins. Joke of the day. I once thanked a Frenchman to death. It was a mercy killing. Right, they, of course, taken an excuse to print the picture of Britney in the maid's outfit. On pages 28 and 29, a DPS of people who lost money because their kids used online games. My son lost so much money on a mobile phone game, we had to sell our car. And this doctor is just one of the parents who had lost a fortune to tech firms, tricking children into buying upgrades for free games they're hooked on. You can set up restrictions. And if you don't, you're a fucking idiot. Mark Knossos liked that joke, fair enough. The Daily Mail's coverage of that stamp. Back in Britain, £6 million Mona Lisa of stamps. It does look pure shit. FBI smashed Tehran spy plot to kidnap Iranian journalist in New York. Speedboat abduction team also tracking dissident in UK. Ivor Getty, great-granddaughter of John Paul Getty, has gone out wearing a $6,000 dress. Well, of course she has. And now we reach the female section, Female magazine, in which we get the Liz Jones story. She's obsessed about being thin now, with adverts and catwalks full of curvy women. Liz Jones dons an empathy suit to confront her prejudice and see if society's really changed. At 62, I'm used to being invisible, but being obese is a million times worse, she writes. Yeah, this is horrendous. This is horrendous. I'll read you the opening paragraph. Squished in a cab, I'm on my way from Kensington, West London to Harrods. As I give him my destination to the driver, I notice his eyebrows shoot up as if to say, Harrods, really? Would Primark not be more apt? I've seen him sigh with impatience as I heave my bulk inside. I've only been morbidly obese for, 30 minutes, but already I have the waddle, the refusing at curves like a mule at Betcher's Brook. I no longer have the faintest idea what my feet are doing as they've disappeared beneath the shelf of my monoboob, the Himalayan foothills of my stomach. Fuck you, Liz. Fuck you. And to be someone who's had eating disorders all her life, to do this to other people is obscene. She says, even children toss at me. Soon I'm in tears. I shuffle past Dior, wondering why I'm here. I ask about buying a thong, and the sales assistant looks like she swallowed a thistle. Does this make her empathetic for the way people treat people appallingly? No. No. She just uses it as a way to make it about herself. Of course she does. It's a fucking disgusting... It's a disgusting piece of work. But what do you expect from the Daily Mail, and particularly from Liz Jones? On page 38, should you ever holiday with your adult kids? Amanda Craig says no. Candida Crew says yes. I mean, who cares? It's up to you, isn't it? Janet Street Porter writes, no ambitious woman should work from home, as 9 out of 10 people say they are tempted by it. One feminist high flyer, who's she? Oh, Janet Street Porter says chaining yourself to the kitchen table is career suicide. I mean, who's suggesting they do that? In the relationships pages, after the Mail told stories of women who said they never share a house with a man again, are you sure your husband doesn't sympathise with the men who will never live with a woman again? Oh, God, fuck off. How to have your food shop delivered in 10 minutes? Right, fine. Liberating power of keeping middle-age anger diary. A well-being expert says women should write a rage page to stay sane. As 5 frazzled writers let rip, what would you take aim at? Libby Purvis says she needs to take a holiday from Taurus. Prue Lee says she's angered by her technology. Marianne McGilvery says there was a joke that her ex made her hate him. And Tanya Gold says she hates phones on trains. Isn't a rage page just the Daily Mail? Yeah, it's so deranged today. You're right, Redtix. It's gone to a whole level here. In the Sex and Love pages, on the blind date column, Judith 63 goes on a date with John 71. He says her blonde hair reminded me of my first wife. Judith says John went in for a kiss. I offered him my cheek. Judith rates 7 out of 10. John is good company. Regrets, no, I met a very nice gentleman. They did have coffee. John says 7 out of 10. He liked her hair. No regrets. Yeah. So... they neither said that sparks flew, but they did like each other, so yeah, whatever. Christopher Stevens in the reviews. 2 Ronnies. Ronnie Corbett's Lost Tapes gets 5 stars. This Way Up gets 4 stars. Tonight's TV recommendation, Our NHS, A Hidden History, 9 p.m, BBC 1. In the cartoons today, Garfield's hanging out with the mouse. In Chloe and Co, they're sitting down talking about men. And in Fred Bassett, it's a zoomed-in picture of Fred Bassett, and he's thinking, I don't reckon much of my high definition today. Bit of a meta one. Righteous fuckface fucking Hitchcock over here with his blonde fetish. Still trying to sell you the My Pillow thing. In the straight-to-the-point letters, Mrs. B. O'Neill writes... The boss of a company that rents out e-scooters says cycle lanes should be widened for them. Maybe when their riders pay road tax and insurance, we'll think about it. Leslie Neary says, well, really, the least you could have done after the men's Wimbledon final was to print a full-page picture of the gallant loser, Matteo Berrettini. Ooh, I say. Julian Green writes... According to Jeremy Corbyn's brother Piers, face masks are for the stupid and the ugly. Shouldn't he be wearing one? Mark Cohen says, remember England football fans, it could be worse. You could be Scottish. Bernd Roadweather of Itzenhoe, Germany says, football's coming home. Have you heard the loud laughter from across the channel? Terry Hall, not that one, says, the true winner on Sunday was COVID. Howard Rimmer, real name, says, Richard Branson has won the billionaires race into space. Only last year he was begging the government for support for his businesses. Julia Todd says, Branson finally got his ticket into space. Shame it wasn't one way. Neil Coppendale says, Almost all restrictions lifted, but we must go slowly. Regaining our freedom and going slowly. Are they really compatible? Yeah, the BBC did go heavy on the Branson propaganda. Cyclists don't play road taxi, fucking numpty, says Slinkermeyer. Yep. Today's recipe is roasted tomatoes and tahini yogurt. It's hardly a recipe, but fine. Trying to flog you Manuka honey. Alarms for if you fall over. Vibrating foot pads. Want you to flog off your old jewellery. And in the sport, we want lose. City keen on Bayern Hitman if Kane deal falls through. Man City want Robert Lewandowski as they attempt to sign an elite centre forward this summer. The Poland striker has 2 years remaining on his current deal at Bayern Munich, which is worth more than £300,000 a week, and has yet to sign a new one. City's top target is England captain Harry Kane, who they offered £100 million for on the eve of the Euro 2020. But Tottenham chairman Daniel Levy is determined to hang on to Kane for at least one more campaign. I can't see Lewandowski going to City either, to be honest. Right, so that was the Daily Mail, and that was our papers today. Give me your scores for me, the Daily Mail. Incredibly unhinged today. Let's say an octo negative nice. Minus 69, 69, 69, 69, 69, 69, 69, 69. Grealish isn't leaving. Get fucked, big clubs, says use of weapons. Yes. Right. Basil Benson says minus 2 fat ladies, minus 88. Use of weapons says minus the force of the sun for the Daily Mail. Slinkermeyer goes in with a minus 69, 69, 69, 69, 69, 69, 69, 69, 69. Yes, it was a particularly bad Daily Mail today. And Sanitary Nap Time gives it a minus 1488 out of 10. Right, that was today's papers. Thank you all for joining me on this Thursday show. I'll be back tomorrow for the for a magazine special and with some newspapers. So more newspapers. If you like the show and you want to support it, do remember you can chuck some coins. No coins in this case. Into paypal.me/conquest of the useless. Let me put that link in the chat for ease of coin throwing. Baz Benson's going to go and watch some chess now. Enjoy that. And do remember to join me again here at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And congratulations again to SK for getting his getting the job. Big congratulations for that. And my episode of podcasting is Praxis, episode 19, featuring me and the wide cast of Podcasting is Praxis, discussing the horrific story of the Daniel Morgan murder and investigations. Should be out tonight. Thank you for that. Sanitary Nap Time. Really appreciate being on there. Red Tixid says, person in the room there expressing their love for coins. She loves coins. Loves coins. There was talk yesterday of a broken bottle coin, and I'm thinking of it. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot. See you tomorrow at 1. The show will be up on YouTube this afternoon as well if you want to catch up on anything. And episodes from this week are already up. Cheers now. Bye bye.